Cerberus Capital, criminal organization. They're the sole owner of DynCorp, a military contractor. DynCorp was ordered to pay back close to $30 million that we know of in 3 separate instances that we know of where they were caught ripping off the Pentagon in Iraq. They submitted false claims. They were soliciting kickbacks from subcontractors in Iraq. They were padding expenses. They were charging for services not rendered. They said, oh, we built this hut for the troops. They got busted. Nobody, of course, goes to prison for ripping off money that could go to the VA, that could go to our soldiers. You pay a fine. A fine, it's the cost of doing business. And that's only the tip of the iceberg of how Cerberus Capital has ripped the American taxpayer off. I doubt David Lorch, who is now head of this Pentagon bank, who comes to us from Cerberus, I doubt he was responsible for any of those crimes. But right now, he's responsible for forgiving $200 billion in loans made to companies like Cerberus. And he seems like a pretty forgiving kind of guy. Something tells me if one of the loans taken out by Don Jr.'s company they default on it, something tells me that David Lorch, who heads this new Pentagon bank, something tells me he's a really forgiving guy. And he would say to Don Jr.'s company, it's okay. We all make mistakes. This office, this Pentagon bank, $200 billion, according to ProPublica, expedited a $620 million loan to Vulcan Elements, which Don Jr. has an equity stake in. And according to ProPublica, that loan was made in August of last year. And for some reason, Peter Navarro, Trump's trade advisor, he lobbied excessively for this loan to go through. Why would a trade advisor, fresh out of prison, Peter Navarro, remember, contempt of Congress? Why would a trade advisor in the White House be lobbying for Don Jr.'s company to get a $620 million loan from the Pentagon? I'm not suggesting that this company, Vulcan, will default on that $620 million loan, because when has Don Jr. ever been involved in a business enterprise that failed? What I'm saying is these are low-interest loans which are very profitable for investors, because when you get a loan like that, you pay yourself first. You get your fees off the top of that loan before it ever goes below the line to the company. Fees are baked into the overhead of a startup company. Now, I don't know what percent is skimmed off the top of that loan. Let's say, however, investors, the company, I think it's 1787 Capital is Don Jr.'s company. Let's just say they skim 20% off the top of that $620 million loan. That's a finder's fee. That's how it's done. I got you this loan, and we're going to take our fee now. And by skimming 20% off the top, that's 20% less of that $620 million that Vulcan gets to spend on developing new age magnets that go into drones and jet technology. That would be patriotic capitalism. That's what Don Jr. calls it. Patriotic